Your nation, your news. One American News Network.
Page 2 now. The Religious Freedom Restoration Act. Apparently, the silent majority in this country sides with the First Amendment. A Marist poll, 54% support religious liberty over government rules and regulations. Also, 65% of Americans are against a business being fined for not providing services for a same-sex wedding. Now, in Indiana, a pizza restaurant that's happy to serve gay couples is also refusing to cater same-sex weddings. And because of the tolerant left, it now needs police protection.
A couple was to come in, like say they wanted us to provide them pizzas for a wedding. We would have to say no. We're not discriminating against anyone. It's just, that's our belief. And everybody has the right to believe anything. I do not think it is targeting gays. Person, I don't think it's a discrimination.
That's a lifestyle that you choose. You know, I choose to be heterosexual. They choose to be homosexual. Why should I be beat over the head because they choose that lifestyle?
Now, the restaurant is closed indefinitely because of all the threats from the tolerant left. So what about the rights of the pizza place, its owner, and its employees? Don't they count here? And what has happened to freedom of choice, not to mention freedom of religion, in this country in 2015? Have we lost it completely? Joining me now from Riverside, California, conservative Republican activist Ben Chapman. Ben, welcome to the program. I have a question for you. It's absolutely none of my business, and I could care less, but I'm still going to ask you because it's important to this conversation. You are a Republican activist, as we pointed out, correct?
Correct.
And you also happen to be gay.
Correct.
Not that I care, but it is pertinent to this discussion. What is your feeling about what's happening in Indiana, Arkansas, regarding the Religious Freedom Restoration Act?
Well, Graham, first of all, I really appreciate the opportunity to be on here, so thank you so much for having me. And you're absolutely correct what you just said. What about the rights of the owner and Christians? They have every right to, in my opinion, refuse service to a same-sex couple as far as baking their cake if it goes against their religious beliefs. That's my opinion on it.
The reason for these laws and for the law that was signed in 1993 by Bill Clinton, then President Bill Clinton, is to give folks standing. This is the way I interpret it, to give them standing if government happens to want to impose itself and force someone to go against their religious beliefs. I understand that that is the reason behind this, but the way I look at things, Ben, we have this thing called the First Amendment, and I think the First Amendment should speak for itself. How do you view this?
Correct. I agree 100%. People are getting the misconception that if a gay person walks into a bakery and wants a birthday cake, for example, they're turning this into that person's going to be away, they're discriminating against that person because they're gay, when that's not the fact that's here. A gay person can walk in the same bakery, ask for a birthday cake, and chances are they're going to get it. They will not be turned away. A gay person can walk in the next day and ask for a same-sex wedding cake, and that baker should have the right to refuse service, saying, you know what, that's not my belief, I don't believe in it, and I choose not to bake the cake. And they are store owners, and they should have that right and not have the government force them or be bullied by people to bake this cake or do this service for them.
And likewise, I don't know how you feel, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but I'd like to know, you personally have the right to not go to that bakery or not go to that pizza parlor because of the information you know. And frankly, maybe you wouldn't want to give them your money.
Correct. If I know that a place does not find me or view me as equal, I don't understand why I would want to give that business my money. If I know that, I will go around the corner to the next bakery right down the street and give them my money because they view me as equal, and I'm not going to sue a company for not finding me as equal or not believing in same-sex marriage. That makes no sense to me. And it's my opinion that it pushes the gay movement back rather than move us forward.
So why are we where we are? I for the life of me, I'm somewhat mystified. I think I know the answer. I think that some radicals in this country and some Democrats, let's face it, some liberals, some progressives, are using this as a wedge issue, I think, to continue to split this country apart. Would you agree with that assessment? What do you think's going on here?
I do agree with that. What they're doing is they want everybody to evolve as the Democrats have over the last few years. Barack Obama ran on traditional marriage in 2008. It wasn't until about 2 years ago that he changed his stance. So because we have a president who lied to the people in 2008 when he said he was for traditional marriage, because he now supports same-sex marriage, now the left are using that as a weapon, wanting everybody to evolve on the issue also. When that's not right, you cannot force people who grew up with traditional marriage their entire lives, regardless of what age they are, 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, so on. You cannot expect them to wake up one day and say, you know what, I believe in same-sex marriage because this person does, this politician does, so on and so forth. You cannot force them to do it. You have to explain the reasoning, explain what's going on, and just allow it to take its course from there on.
You know, and a lot of this has to do with the intent, and it's hard to read someone's soul and someone's heart. Discrimination versus exercising their First Amendment right, and that's where we really get into this murky waters. But I got to ask you before we let you go, as a Republican who happens to be gay, when you look for a candidate to support, do you necessarily have to have someone who supports the gay cause or supports same-sex marriage or anything of that nature, or do you look at candidates similar to I do? And that would be someone who will uphold the Constitution and the rule of law.
Correct. What you'll find in most gay conservatives like myself is that we're not single-issue voters. If we're looking at a candidate, I've worked on campaigns, local campaigns, regardless of what one stance they have on one particular issue, if we disagree on one issue, we talk foreign policy. Okay, where do you stand on immigration? Where do you stand on being pro-life or pro-choice? I look at the overall perspective. The 80% of the person who agrees with you, that's the person that I'm for, not the 20%. One single issue doesn't define who I am, and that shouldn't dictate how I view politics.
That's a nice synopsis. Ben, thanks for joining us. Coming up next, how close are we to an Article 5 convention of the states as the Daily Ledger continues?